So one of the key things that I promised you that I would share is how to get opportunities that will help you to achieve your goals really jump out at you. Well, it may seem really obvious, but it really comes down to something that's quite fundamentally simple. Something that's so simple that many people don't even give the time and attention that it really deserves. And I personally believe that it's this fundamental step which is a foundation, and by really committing to it, then it can create that rapid transformation in your results. So, are you ready for it? Have you got your pen and your paper there? It's all about knowing what you want to achieve. And when I say knowing what you want to achieve, I don't mean just having some vague idea or notion of your goals or outcomes. I mean to really get down into the nitty gritty, into the detail, because the clarity around your goal are really, really clear here. So our minds actually work in a really wonderful way. And I want to bring this to life for you to really help you set yourself those goals and outcomes in the most fundamental, productive way for you. So let me kind of bring to your mind the importance of fundamentally knowing how our minds actually work in this wonderful way. And it's actually scary because I don't think we give enough credit to our mind sometimes and how it can actually help us achieve the results that we want. But I'm going to say something from the outset. I'm not one of these guys who's all about wishful thinking or just positive attitude. I'm a firm believer that your mindset and action and clarity, they all go hand in hand to get the results there as well for you. So, there's a part of our mind that you may be aware of or you may not be aware of as much, but sometimes it's called your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind or your non-conscious mind, whatever label that you may have heard it being referred to. It can become the part of our mind that it's like our best friend, our advocate, our supporter, our cheerleader. Well, most of the time anyway, if we're using it in the most effective way. And this is a part of our mind that really makes us pay attention to what we actually see, what we hear, what we feel, and what we think, and what we experience every single second of every single day. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about it here in this webinar in terms of the time is a bit limited, but our minds simply are bombarded with so much information from the outside world that scientists predict that every second that we have a minimum of 2 million bits of information per second that's bombarded to our mind. And I don't know about you, but really that's such a massive number, and I know within even a slight nanosecond it would take so long, it would be really quick for me to get overwhelmed and have that confusion as well. And that's why we all have built into our minds really 3 hardwired programs that basically attempt to keep us operating in the most effective, the most efficient way as well. So let's now find out how can you use that in the most productive way for yourself. So one of the programs that we have that we all operate from is the program that deletes things. So let me bring this to life for you. This is really where we've got so much information that's bombarded to us every single second that our mind's having to really make decisions for us on behalf of us really quickly in terms of whether we're going to pay attention to something, whether that's something a visual, something that you smell, something that you taste. It's like your unconscious mind making that decision to say, should you bring that to your conscious awareness, or should we just delete that? And it's as if you've got your blinkers on. So have you ever experienced getting so focused and engrossed in a piece of work that you didn't hear someone ask you a question, or you didn't hear someone actually call out your name? That's again really like your unconscious mind was so focused on something that it decided that it wasn't important for you at that moment to become aware of those people calling your name. So your unconscious mind really stopped you from being aware of those opportunities. So you may be asking, what's this got to do, and how's this going to help create a rapid transformation in the results that I'm looking for? Well, our minds delete things that they think aren't important. So to help yourself from having opportunities like it's as if it's going to hit you in the face. Well, not literally because that would hurt, but really it's like you'll have your blinkers off in terms of you'll see things that you might have walked by and ignore. This is very much in terms of how you can help yourself instead of sabotaging your success, really accelerating your success. The thing that you need to do is to really program your mind to know what it wants and therefore what it needs to look out for and what information it needs to provide to you. And this is where getting really crystal clear about your goals and outcomes becomes so important. And I'll share with you some of the questions that you can ask yourself to really build that clarity for you shortly. But once you know what you want, and really what you want, then your unconscious mind can then start to look out for those opportunities that can turn that into action, that can really make it happen, rather than you walking around life and missing out on those opportunities. It's as if they might be driving by you. And just think about that for a moment. How helpful could it be if you're programming your mind to activate it, to allow it to tell you what to focus upon? So, if you're looking for that next job, or if you're in a business and you're looking to increase your sales or your clients, or even if you know what you want to achieve, then when you see something, it could be if you're on a website, you might be on Facebook, you might be talking to someone, then you're giving yourself, your unconscious mind, that opportunity to really tune in and to flag those opportunities that it thinks that could help you in support of making those goals come alive for you. So the second program that we all have that we use is the ability to distort things. And this is classic when your mind plays tricks on you. And I'm sure you've had lots of examples of that happening to you. However, if you weren't clear about what you want, then your unconscious mind can actually be like an enemy. And it can start to distort lots of things. And it can make your current situation sometimes seem even worse than it may be for you. However, if you're really clear about what you want, then even though the opportunities may not take you there instantly to achieve those goals, your mind can start to show you ways that could positively distort things and look for opportunities in different ways to adjust your routes, to adjust what you do in your actions to make sure that you get to that opportunity. So we also generalize things all the time, and that's a bit of a generalization there. And generalizations can actually be quite dangerous as well, but they could also be used in a positive way, because sometimes generalizations can hold you back. So for example, if you came across a hurdle in the past and you didn't adjust your course, your route to find a new way to overcome that hurdle, then you may have a limited thought or a limited belief or a decision around your ability about making your goal a reality. And that would be like a little niggling voice saying, it's too hard to get promoted, or I'll always be fat, or the economy is not good for us at the moment, I can't make a success, anything like that. So our minds kind of work like the genie in Aladdin, and it simply turns around and says, well, your wish is my command. And you'll start to see a lot of ways that will stop you from actually making things happen, and that will become more of a generalized belief. However, even by knowing how your mind generalizes things, it can give you the power in your hands. You can start to question that little inner voice if it's holding you back. And there are lots of rapid transformation coaching tools that can completely obliterate, or should I say, your limiting decisions or feelings, and really any fear that you might have. However, as I say, due to the short time that I have here, I'm not be able to go through them in detail, but just by knowing what you're saying is just a generalization, it's just a belief that you might hold, even by questioning it, it can actually start you on that journey to breaking those generalizations that you might have. And I'll ask you to think about though how, if you have a positive focus on what you want to achieve and really believe that you can do it, then you'll create a positive ripple effect so that you'll start to have a positive generalization and you'll start to see those opportunities and you'll be able to look at, well, how can I make that work for me? How can I get myself to get that goal that I'm looking for and bring that to reality? So even by understanding how your mind works, it's really powerful and empowering, and I'm sure you'll agree to that. So some of you may have seen this before, but I think this really brings to life how our minds work in a really sophisticated way, and we don't give it credit a lot of times. And I'm sure I'll give you a wee moment just to look through this, but I'm sure that all of you will be able to read this and make sense of it, even though it doesn't make sense from the English language. But our minds are filtering that, it's deleting, it's distorting, and it's generalising that. So even though the words are all scrambled around, you can still make sense of it as well. So how do you really get focused upon what you want? Well, there's a range of powerful questions that you can ask yourself to really hone down and get crystal clear. And there's over 15 questions from an NLP and Rapid Transformation Toolkit that can help you. But what I want to do is I want to share a few of them with you here, even the top 4 that can start that journey to making it a real clarity for you. So the first one really is, what specifically do I want? Here, it's all about what you want rather than what you don't want. So, the more specific you are, the better it is for you, both consciously and your unconscious mind, to make that happen for you. So, get very detailed. If it's a new job, well, what type of role will it be? If it's more money you want to attract, well, how much specifically? The more detailed you are, the better you are in terms of making that come alive for you. The second question is, what will I see? What will I hear? What will I feel? What will I think when I have it? Our minds work in a more of a multi-dimensional way than we actually sometimes realise. And rather than just being quite logical or quite factual, by actually paying attention to what you'll see, what you'll hear, what you'll feel, what you think, you can build upon all the senses and the way that your mind works to create a real representation for you in your mind's eye, so that it can help keep that compelling motivation for you and bring that alive for you when you're taking actions. So really take the time to think about, what will I see? What will I hear? What will I feel? What will I think when I have it? The third question is, what will this outcome get for me or allow me to do? This is like the why, the fuel that's going to help give energy to that goal. It lets you connect with it at a deeper level and really gets your mind thinking how it will have that positive effect for you. So even by asking, what will this get for you? It can actually be in the long term, it could be in the short term, it could even be aspects of different areas of your life as well, by making this goal a reality. The fourth question that I'd really encourage you to think about is, when will I achieve this? And really put a date to it, because be really specific. As you know, there's no day of the week called someday, is there? But how many times do you hear yourself or other people around you say, well, someday I'm going to do that. Someday I'm going to push myself. But that someday really isn't going to come unless you're clear about when that will be for you. And even if you say, I'm going to do that within a year, for example, well, as every second goes by, so does that in a year. So just be really clear, put a date to it, because this really helps your mind get focused upon the priorities of these goals for you, so that it knows when you want it to happen by. And then it can start to bring your awareness, your actions, your motivation all together to make it happen. So to sum this up, you need to set yourself up for success by giving yourself the time to really focus upon, what do you want? And often many people can scare themselves by thinking about the how are they going to do it first of all. But if you know the what you want, then you'll be able to find different ways to make it happen. And I'm sure you know that's true. Think of it as if you're programming your sat-nav in your car. So you know where you want. It's really important to have that crystal clear clarity for you. There's a big difference, isn't it? For example, if I was saying, I want to go down to England at the weekend, compared to saying, I want to go to central London to go and see Buckingham Palace. The more clear you are, the more you'll know when you've achieved that goal and when you're on that right path as well.